Everyone else fought the cold with more fire. One man fought it by keeping his wood dry. Almost no one on the frontier understood why that mattered. On the frontier, cold wasn't the real enemy. Moisture was. Wet walls leaked heat. Wet firewood stole it before it ever reached the room. Most settlers kept feeding the fire harder every night. One man decided to protect the fuel instead. Settle this before we go further, when survival depends on heat. Do you focus on making more of it, or on keeping what you already have usable? Stay with this story. By the end, you'll see how one overlooked detail turned winter from a daily battle into a controlled problem. What Olaf never explained to his neighbors was that he wasn't inventing anything new. He was remembering something old. On the Norwegian coast, fishermen had survived centuries of cold, not by fighting it, but by managing moisture. Storms there did not announce themselves politely. Salt spray coated everything. Freezing rain soaked rope, timber, and canvas. Boats lived half their lives wet, and the men who built them understood a brutal truth. Cold alone does not destroy wood. Water trapped inside it does. Olaf had grown up watching boats rot while tied safely to dock. Hulls that looked strong on the outside collapsed from within because moisture had nowhere to go. The smartest shipbuilders never sealed a vessel tight. They layered planks. They allowed air to move. They designed for drainage, not perfection. A boat that could breathe survived storms. A boat that tried to shut the sea out entirely died quietly, plank by plank. When Olaf arrived in Pine Ridge, he felt that same danger immediately. The cabins looked sturdy. The logs were thick. The chinking was tight. But they were built like sealed coffins. No airflow, no buffer, no escape path for moisture. Snow melted, breath condensed, firewood hissed, walls sweated. The cabins were fighting winter the same way bad ships fought the sea, and winter always wins that fight. Settlers believed tight meant warm. It was an understandable belief. Wind steals heat, gaps invite drafts, so they packed every seam harder each year, convinced that tighter walls would save them. Olaf knew better. Tight walls trapped moisture. Moisture stole heat faster than wind ever could. Damp air carried cold into bones. Wet wood wasted energy evaporating water before producing warmth. Chimneys smoked because fires were being strangled by their own fuel. Every frozen morning in Pine Ridge confirmed it. Frost bloomed along interior walls like white scars. Ice traced the log seams from the inside. Windows glazed over even when fires burned. Families woke to stiff clothes and damp bedding. The cabins weren't losing the battle because they lacked fire. They were losing because they couldn't stay dry. The shed house didn't just block wind. It changed the entire climate of living. Olaf wasn't building a shield. He was building a buffer. The outer shell took the punishment winter delivered with such enthusiasm. Snow piled against it and stayed there. Ice glazed its boards and cracked harmlessly in the sun. Wind screamed across its surface, robbed of any direct path to the cabin inside. Between the outer shell and the inner cabin, something remarkable happened. Air slowed. Moisture rose and escaped. Heat lingered. Even weak winter sunlight warmed that trapped air just enough to matter. During the day, the gap became slightly warmer than the outside world. At night, it cooled slowly. never as fast as the open air. The cabin lived inside a pocket of moderated reality. Not warm exactly, but stable, and stability is survival in winter. This buffer changed everything Olaf touched. His walls stopped sweating. Frost no longer crept across the logs from the inside. Bedding hung overnight dried instead of freezing solid. Clothing lost moisture instead of accumulating it. Smoke stopped clinging to every surface. Fires burned clean. The cabin smelled different. Dry, woody, alive. Anyone who stepped inside noticed it immediately, even if they didn't understand why. Breathing felt easier. That was something Olaf hadn't expected. Damp cabins held smoke low, choking lungs and stinging eyes. In his shed house, smoke rose cleanly up the chimney. Air felt lighter. Children stopped coughing at night. Mornings began without the headache that came from breathing stale air for 12 hours straight. The fire itself behaved differently. Dry wood burned hotter and brighter. Flames were clean and controlled. Heat radiated instead of vanishing. Olaf fed the stove less often, not because he was rationing, but because he didn't need to. When neighbors finally admitted something was different, Olaf didn't explain theory. He showed results. He placed 2 logs side by side on the hearth. Same tree, same cut, same age. One from his storage gap, one from outside under snow. The difference was obvious even before the flame touched them. One felt light, the other heavy. One caught quickly. The other hissed and smoked, wasting precious heat boiling water trapped inside. That demonstration changed more minds than any argument ever could. By February, winter exposed the truth with cruel clarity. Most families had burned through frightening amounts of wood. Axes rang daily, stacks dwindled. Some cabins rationed heat, letting fires die at night and restarting them in the morning with numb fingers. Children slept layered in coats. Breath hung visibly indoors. Olaf still had stacks standing. He wasn't hoarding. He wasn't luckier. He was simply losing less heat and wasting less fuel. Where others burned energy fighting dampness, Olaf converted fuel directly into warmth. His cabin stayed consistently warmer. His nights were quieter, his mornings calmer. The shed house didn't make him wealthy. It made him predictable, and predictability was luxury on the frontier. Spring revealed the final proof no one could ignore. Cabins without outer shells showed damage winter had hidden. Blackened seams, softened chinking, early rot creeping in where moisture had been trapped for months. Logs shifted slightly as frozen joints thawed unevenly. Olaf's cabin emerged unchanged. The logs were dry, the seams tight, the foundation solid. No frost scars, no rot. The moisture everyone feared never arrived because it never had the chance to settle. Within 2 years, Pine Ridge looked different. Cabins sprouted outer shells like quiet armor. Some were crude, some were elegant, but all shared the same principle: air gaps, ventilation, dry storage. Firewood stood upright inside those gaps, protected and breathing. Chimneys smoked less. Wood piles shrank slower. Winters were still brutal, but they stopped being desperate. People stopped measuring winters by how much wood they burned. They started measuring by how calm they felt inside their homes. Olaf Henriksen never claimed brilliance. When asked why it worked, he answered simply, "Cold doesn't destroy homes, wet does." It wasn't poetry. It was experience. History would remember the shed house as a frontier innovation, a clever solution, a smart adaptation. Olaf remembered it as something much humbler, common sense that had been forgotten when people tried to overpower nature instead of listening to it.